Today we spoke about improvements in all walks of life with behavior analysis, and my talk is going to be about how we used the principles of behavior analysis with regular kids in a regular school environment. So we're not talking autism here at all, or any developmental disability. So just to give you a brief idea of the population that we were dealing with, these were children, these children were all first generation learners, mostly from the lower economic strata, studying in a government aided school. This group of children had been introduced to technology assisted self-learning in math from class 6 onwards. When it was introduced in class 6, there was initially a huge improvement in their learning curves. When these children reached class 8, we found there was a decline in the rate of learning. This paper discusses how positive reinforcement restored their motivation to learn and improve their rate of learning. So the objective of this plan was to find some positive motivation that would keep the children working, because obviously something was not going right. They were not interested in what they were doing, and we had to find something that would, we had to find what would motivate them to come back, to remain in class and come back to learning. So just to give you a brief insight on the environment, the children started using a web-based portal called khanacademy.org for learning math from class 6, where it was a self-learning tool. So the syllabus of class 6 was kind of laid out, and we knew what videos they needed to watch and what exercises they needed to look at. So the curriculum was planned based on the syllabus that they had to go through. The thing with the Khan Academy is learning without the active intervention of the teacher. So the children set goals for themselves. So each child would discuss what they would achieve in the next 15 days. So the teacher would make the goals based on discussion with each child, and then the child would work towards achieving that. So that's a typical learning environment. So the role of the teacher here was that of a facilitator, helping in setting goals and assisting students whenever necessary. If somebody had a problem, then the teacher would intervene, the supervisor would intervene, otherwise the teacher was just there. So for this particular paper, we are looking at two sets of children. One was a group of children with disruptive behaviors, and the other was a set of learners who were average to slow learners. The rate of learning was anyway very kind of sluggish, right? So the first term of class 8 saw a drop in learning rates in the target group. So what happened? Some of the kids stopped coming into the class at all. They would just stay in the playground or just not come into class. Some of them, now this Khan Academy has a little thing where you can press hint. If you don't know how to do a particular problem, you can press hint and it will give you an answer. So, but when you use hint, that means it says, okay, you're not fluent in this topic and it's not going to let you move on to the next level. So every time you press hint, you do not get permission to move on to the next level. So these were kids who were constantly pressing hint because they were not even making an effort to try and solve a problem. As a result, they never moved on to the next topic or to the next level of their syllabus. So some children started taking much longer to move from one chapter to the next as a result. Disruptive behaviors in the class included talking to others, distracting children who were trying to make an attempt to work better. So what is a typical reaction when children start indulging in disruptive behaviors? Punishment. And what is punishment? Typically, get out of class. Just get out of the class, do not come in till you are ready to work. So what happened was a lot of these kids ended up getting out of the class, and some of the kids were sent to the teacher who would sit in another class and tutor them directly one-to-one. So the children who were sitting outside, what did they do? They were getting bored. Obviously they didn't want to come back into class, so they started making eyes at the children who were working. you know, looking at them, making these funny faces, disturbing the kids who were also working. And of course, this resulted in a further reduction in the attendance of the kids in the math class. So it was evident that we needed a fresh strategy to work on it. So-called punishment was not making any difference. We were not seeing any reduction in the behaviors. So the kids were actually called in for an informal meeting. So we just sat the kids down and the facilitators were there, and we spoke to them and we asked them, you know, so what is it that is going to make you actually come back? What is it that's going to motivate you to start working better? So remember, these are kids who can talk, and unlike the segment population we generally work with, we were able to get answers from them. And these are all kids, like I said, from the lower economic strata. They don't have computers, iPads, iPhones, none of those things with them. So they all wanted to play computer games like Road Rash and Angry Birds. That was what they said would motivate them to come back to class. So based on that, the children were split into groups of 4. They made their own groups. Each group had a mix of good performers, average performers, slow performers. And the children also agreed that they would help each other in the group if necessary. So peer tutoring was accepted. So goals were made by the supervisor in consultation with each child. The goals were set for a period of 15 days. It was agreed that the group would have access to computer time, to the computer games, only when every child in the group achieved their goals. So all the 4 kids had to achieve their set goals, and the children could access the games for an hour on a given day after school hours. So these were the disruptive, so-called disruptive children with disruptive behaviors. June 1st to July 1st, number of topics completed. This was before we sat them down and spoke about motivation. And 1st October to 30th November is after we set these new goals and said you could play Road Rash or Angry Birds once you've achieved your goals. These were the slower average learners before and after, a number of topics that they actually covered in a time frame of 2 months. So as you can see, they actually managed to cover a lot of ground. The number of topics, each one of them, particularly the slow learners, if you see, there's a huge jump in the number of topics they managed to cover. 7 to 16, 7 to 17, 7 to 15, 8 to 19. There was a huge jump in the number of topics they could cover. And in fact, by 30th November, they were done with the curriculum for term 2. So they finished whatever they were supposed to finish by 15th December actually. So that was a kind of jump we saw in their learning because they decided on what would motivate them. So the outcome, children remained on task for longer periods of time. The rate at which topics were completed increased. The children helped others in the group who were having trouble understanding a topic. And the children started attending classes regularly. So we saw the number of dropouts of the class really go down, and every child was in the class because, and then if a child didn't come, the others would get him in because everybody in the group had to finish and achieve their goals in order for everyone to be accessing the computer game. Yes? This one? Earlier one? Yeah. Sorry? There was one child, Karthik, child number 3. Is that the question?
Why super important?